chicken pot pie. It's what's for dinner. Today we are making chicken pot pie. When I was a kid, I used to love these. So when it comes to this recipe, we're gonna do a little cheating. If it makes your life a little bit easier, I respect it. We have a rotisserie chicken here. I'm gonna shred this chicken. I'm gonna cut up these vegetables. We have some celery, we have some carrots, potatoes here, an onion, some garlic, and a leek. This is my baby, this is my favorite. It's an allium. So leeks are part of the onion family and it's just divine. I love it. I love it in chicken pot pie. I love it anywhere really. So we are going to get started. Starting with our carrots, we're just cutting off the top, splitting them in half and cutting them into this pretty evenly sized so they all cook at the same rate. I'm gonna use a little bench scraper action. Kind of get my things in here. Just removing this tough white end. Our onion, cut this baby right in half. A little chop. Small dice is fine. If anybody knows a secret to help me not get so emotional cutting onions, leave it in the comments. I don't think there's any secret. I think you just girl up, woman up, and just get through it. And this was the perfect size bowl for all my veggies. I'm literally crying right now. These onions are killing me. Oh, emotional break time is over now. All right, so we have our veggies, onions, carrots, celery. This is a good amount. This is gonna make, I don't know, I'm gonna say a pie and a few individual pies. So we're gonna use ramekins and a pie plate. It's gonna be dope. Our leek. I'm gonna split this baby in half because leeks are very dirty. There's dirt all up in here. We don't want that. We're gonna take it to the sink and just rinse it out in slices. The leek. The dark green is too tough to eat. This is gonna be overflowing, but that's all right. Garlic, sliced thin. We don't have to mince. I like slicing garlic thin, get a lot of flavor out of it. It's a lot less work. 3 cute little russet potatoes. I like to put them in water. The reason I like to do all my cutting and prep before cooking is because I don't want it to get chaotic. And I learned in school, mise en place, everything in its place, helps you as a cook. It makes everything flow so you're not running around like a chicken with your head cut off. I'm just gonna throw them into the water. This helps with oxidation, so the potatoes won't turn brown as long as you store them in a little bit of water. We're gonna take our rotisserie chicken. I do not want any of the skin. Skin is rubbery. We don't need it in our pot pie, but I will take all of this meat off and use it. My favorite part is the dark meat. It's cool to use whatever pieces you like though. I think the end yield we'll get from this is about 3 cups of shredded chicken. I tore this chicken apart. All that's left are the bones and the skin. Skin is rubbery. I don't really like it in there, so we'll get rid of that. All right, so this is everything we're gonna need. We have our veggies that we just chopped up. We also have 2 cups of chicken stock, a 1/4 cup of flour, a 1/4 cup of butter, which is just half a stick. That's for our roux. And we're about to get started. For our crust, I know you've been wondering. I'm gonna tell you, just hold. I have 2 sheets of puff pastry. We're not making crust for this. We wanted to keep it simple. 2 sheets of puff pastry. We're gonna roll this out. I'm gonna cover a whole pie dish and a few ramekins, and we're gonna see where we go from there. We're gonna start off by melting our butter into a Dutch oven. We want this over a medium-high heat. And we're going to sweat our veggies in this. So it might look like a lot of butter now, But trust me, we're going to add flour to this to make the roux, so this is the perfect amount. We're throwing in our onions, carrots, celery, and our leeks, and we're sweating those down for a few minutes. We're going to season this, and that helps the veggies sweat out a little faster. I like to cover them just so they can sweat down a little bit quicker. Then we're going to add in our garlic. I make a little hole in the middle just to get that garlic some nice surface contact, and mix it up until it's quite fragrant. This only takes about 30 seconds to a minute. Now I'm gonna add in our potatoes. Add some salt to those potatoes. Potatoes absolutely adore salt. Don't be shy about it, and give it a good mix. We're gonna cover it again and let those potatoes cook down a little bit. It's been a few minutes, I would say about 10 minutes for the potatoes to cook. So now we're gonna sprinkle this whole mixture with flour. That's gonna pick up all that butter that we used in the beginning, and we're going to start to make our roux. So once the vegetables are coated with the flour, we're going to add in our chicken stock and continuously mix it. This way no lumps are formed, and we'll have a smooth gravy for our chicken pot pie. I'm gonna let this simmer for a little while, just until the potatoes are quite done. We don't want them to be hard, but they'll cook a little bit more in the oven, so keep that in mind. Now we're gonna add in our chicken and a little bit of lemon juice, which was not pictured here. Sorry, my camera cut off. But that is all. We're gonna mix this all together, and we're gonna let it sit to the side and cool for a little while so our puff pastry doesn't melt once we put it right on top of the filling. We are going to get started on our puff pastry. Pie filling is here. It's ready to go. It's great. Make sure you taste it, season as you go to get it to where you like it. So all I'm doing here is throwing out some flour because we don't want our puff pastry to stick. These are just like pie dough. You don't want them to melt before you're getting it in the oven. Okay, a little bit of flour on top. So I'm just rolling it out some. I'm kind of going off of my pie plate. I want it to be a little bit bigger than my pie plate, so there's some overhang. I'd say about an inch. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not looking for perfection here. This right here should be great. I have my bowl here. I'm gonna put this back in the fridge for a little bit since I'm not working with it right this second. Let's take our filling. It's a great consistency. It's not too loose. I don't like pot pie that's super loose. And I let this filling cool off. That way our puff pastry will not melt immediately once it's topped by the filling. And then I also have these little ramekins that I'm gonna fill as well. I'm gonna fill these little babies to make little individual pies. And we are going to just cover it with our puff pastry. Don't want to roll it out too thin, but you don't want it to be too thick either. Tuck those edges in to make kind of a lip. I like to do a little crimping. You don't have to, this is not necessary. I like to work a little fast because I don't want this to start melting. Also preheated our oven. Oh, cute. Okay, better than I thought it would come out. We're going to need an egg wash now. Crack it. Mix this. And we want to brush this egg wash onto our puff pastry. This is going to help with browning. It's going to get beautiful and it won't dry out. We want to create pockets for venting on the top, so just going to cut 4 little slits. That way our puff pastry can have a little bit of steam room. I'm just gonna roll this one out. I'm not even gonna separate it. We just wanna get 4 square pieces out of this. That's about 4 good pieces. Cutting them into 4. But I kinda want them to overlap a little bit. Something like this is perfect. It's hanging over the sides, it's cute. We like that. What you wanna do is put a little bit of egg wash around that lip, then attach your piece of puff pastry, so it's a little bit folded over, and then egg wash the top. Making sure all of the puff pastry has a little bit of that egg wash on it so all of it can get evenly brown and beautiful. And then for these, we're just gonna do a simple slit down the middle. Here's how they look. I'm gonna throw these right onto the same sheet pan. These pies are going into a 400-degree oven for about 25 to 35 minutes. We're gonna check on them after a little bit and we'll be right back. So these are how our pies look after about 30 minutes in the oven. They're nice, crusty, they're brown. The puff pastry really puffed up because of that high heat in the beginning. And now it's time to eat. Just gonna dig right in. Look at that filling. That is perfect. The filling is well seasoned. The gravy is not too runny, just how I like it. And it was super simple. Thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe by hitting that button below. I'm gonna have the full recipe and all my links in the description, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.